Well beyond shell-shocked, I think.
Welcome back to part 2 of the CGR Macro review of the waste disposal level in Defense Grid Gold, being played here on OnLive. A fun, challenging level with a waste disposal theme, so you know this place stinks. And it certainly will smell bad after you litter it with thousands of dead alien bodies. That'll be baking in the hot sun. Is there sun in this place? Well, maybe not. Let's just assume that dead aliens smell, and we'll want a lot of dead aliens. Piles of them, even though they vanish after you shoot them. Imagine there's piles of dead aliens. Everywhere, especially between my 2 lanes filled with cannons. The kill zones, where we slow enemies down and then blow them to bits. Now you can see at this point, very few enemies are getting through that section filled with gun turrets and upgraded cannons. And that's good, but you always have to assume that the hardest levels in Defense Grid will be the final 2 or 3. And we are going to plan ahead for that, and we'll also want to save our resources so that we earn a gold medal in this level. Now, anytime that I've ever set up a kill zone area where I use temporal devices to slow down aliens and blast them to death with machine guns and turrets and lasers, there's always 1 or 2 that's going to get through, no matter what. So you'll definitely want a few cannons somewhere else to pick off stragglers, especially those that may actually reach your cores, which is why I've built a couple guns over there by the core housing, or whatever they call that thing. And even though I've got things relatively under control here, what surprised me is that the aliens that picked up the cores did not take the route that I expected them to. I thought they would go... I figured that they would go north and then try to make their way to the exit, but they're actually going south, right back into the mess of cannons and temporal devices, which means they are complete idiots and deserve to be blown up. Sometimes the alien scumbag dirtbag monsters have a mind of their own when it comes to their path to get the cores and then make their way off screen. Occasionally you'll come out ahead because of their stupidity, but not often. In this case, I think I got a bit lucky, which is good because I get to use some of these upgraded cannons and guns twice, which is more value for the money. I shoot them on the way in, I shoot them on the way out, they all die, and we are happier because of it.
Well beyond shell-shocked, I think.
Using weapons more than once is important, especially when you're upgrading them because of the expense. You use a lot of resources when upgrading cannons and meteors and some of the more expensive towers. Most of the levels in Defense Grid allow you to place things in a position where they shoot enemies when they enter the level, and then you can shoot them when they leave. In fact, the hardest levels are the levels that prohibit you from doing that. This is not really one of those levels, because as you see, the row of red fully upgraded machine gun turrets shoot enemies above them and then below them, and if I drive enemies back through them in the reverse direction, they'll hit them again. So those guns are being used 3 or 4 times. The moral of the story is, do not fully upgrade a tower that only shoots enemies occasionally. Spend your resources wisely. Now, it's about to get a little more difficult here in waste disposal. Let's watch the last couple waves of alien dirtbags go down in flames. Yeah, whoever's controlling the alien forces this day should really be fired. Or at least decapitated and then thrown into a giant pool of alien acid. Because they're stupid. There's better ways that they could have won this level. I'm giving the enemy pointers right now. So aliens, if you're listening, you guys suck. They've got to be losing some morale at this point, as they're not going anywhere, and they're just dying horribly. For my enjoyment, it's the waste disposal level in Defense Grid Gold, one that can be challenging unless the aliens play like idiots. Uh-oh, at the very end, they're making a run for it here, so I'm going to upgrade a tower. But that's okay, because they still die horribly. Hahaha. Dumbass aliens. It's Defense Grid Gold. Rock.
Now you have time for a rest. A very, very impeccable work.